Hey YouTubers, it's Cisco Kid here, Monday, April 24th, and I've got a Perrin Gurney flap install that I'm going to do because I've got some decent weather. It's just been pouring rain here in the Pacific Northwest, so trying to get this done after work this evening. And what we're going to need for this job is we're going to need, obviously we've got our instructions within the box for the Gurney flap. You're going to need some painter's tape to mask off your spoiler. And then what we're going to do is we're going to measure from the corner, which I've already done, from the corner of your light to the center of your spoiler. It's going to be 22 inches. You're going to do that from each corner, marking it off. Check it a few times. I've done the same thing. I've checked it a few times. I'm all good to go. And then we're going to measure from the top of the spoiler. We're going to measure down 3/8 of an inch from the top where there's a little beveled edge. And up from the bottom, at the bottom of the beveled edge, 3/8 up, you're going to mark off your center hole, and that's where we're going to drill our first hole. Because we're jumping up, and what's required in this to start is a 1/8 drill and a 25/64. You're going to start with the 1/8, you're going to drill in, and then from there we're going to work up to the 25/64. I'm probably going to use something in between before I go big, just to make sure I don't tear anything or damage my spoiler, because I don't have a spare one on hand. So I'll come right back in a moment after I've got the first hole drilled and I've pulled off the painter's tape, or at least I've got the next holes marked. Okay, that's it. So be right back. Okay guys, so I've got my first hole drilled. I've just put in the 1/8. I just drilled into the spoiler with the 1/8 drill bit. I'm going to go up one size. I'm going to go to 7/32. Make it a little larger, and then I'm going to finish it off with the 25/64. Not the funnest thing. You just want to make sure you're going straight, and that's about it. Okay, now we're going to go big. Get that first hole marked off. I'm kind of in a rush because I just want to get this done before it gets darker. Okay, so we've got the first hole drilled. I don't want to play around with that anymore. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, Cisco Kid here, I'm back. I've just removed some tape here to install the rivet nut. We've got the washer, we've got the bolt, the rivet is inside. I've started tightening it, and now I'm going to continue. It's going to get a bit harder, and then it's going to pretty much completely stop. This is a tricky one with rivets, something I'm not a big fan of. And we're using a 10mm here, so. And we're just about there based on the instructions saying it will get hard and or pretty much stop. So I think we're at that point now. So it gets hard from the stop, beginning, and then it gets easier, and then we're done. So we continue tightening until the turning force becomes much harder and or stops. And it is biting into the wing as I expected, so I think we are there. Okay, be right back. Okay guys, so at this point what we've done now is the hole has been drilled, the rivet was put in, the rivet bit into the factory spoiler, so it's secured well. Next step is to secure your gurney flap, tighten it up, not too tight, And at this point, it's nice to have a second person, but you can do it by yourself. So what you're going to do is, the nice thing about this is it is you can move it up and down vertically. So these holes here do have a little bit of room, so in case your measurement wasn't perfect, like mine wasn't, I was off to the bottom a little bit, but because I'm able to slide it up, it's going to work out perfect and line up with the bottom where it becomes beveled on the stock spoiler. So at this point I'm going to raise mine to the maximum, and I'm then going to see if I can actually tape it down, and then you're going to mark off your next hole. So there's going to be 1, 2, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once those holes have been marked into the tape, you're going to be able to go in and drill those last spots. Then you're going to install your rivet nuts. And prior to installing your rivet nuts, you're going to remove the tape. After you've drilled, remove the tape, install the rivet nuts, and then you'll almost be finished. One thing they advise is to add some white grease to the bolt that you're using to install the rivet nut, and put a little bit under the head of it as well so you can back it out easier. Other than that, it's a pretty simple install once you get over just drilling into your spoiler. So if you take your time, I'm guessing it's like an hour. So hopefully I'll just wrap this up pretty quick. And that's about it. So we'll be right back once I've marked off these other holes so I can speed this vid up. Thanks, guys. Okay guys, I've marked off my last holes and I'm gonna just get on with drilling. It's I think it's pretty on, so here we go. I found I'm just going to go a tad higher than my holes. That's 1. 2. 4. 5. Excuse the Harleys ripping by, but it's springtime. 6. Okay, we'll step it up to 7/30 seconds and then 25/64ths and we're done. Then we'll just slam in the rivets, rip the tape off. We'll rip the tape off before we slam in the rivets, and then be done. Attach it, and that'll be the project. Okay guys, I'm going to give you a show you what happened. My one hole stepping up to the there's a 25/64, it caught a little bit, and that is what they warn you about. So I already checked to see if the rivet's going to cover the edge where it's cracked, splintered, and yes it will, so thank God for that. Too bad it's on the outside hole, but I think we'll be good. All the other holes turned out to be perfectly fine. I had no issue with them, just that one. So be careful when you are stepping it up, and I did kind of rush it, so that's my own fault. Other than that, everything worked out well. We'll be back for the final finish. Okay guys, here Cisco Kid back. Finished installing the gurney flap, so I just wanted to give you a look at it once it's been installed. So I will be honest, I did run into a little problem with the right side rivet, the far outer one. I tightened it a little bit too much, and a portion of it began to pull through, and that is one of the harder corners, is working on the very ends of your spoiler. So if there's any kind of suggestions or feedback I can give, is take your time when you're installing that rivet. Don't over tighten it. It's probably better to have it a little less tight than to go that extra half turn as I did. All the other ones turned out pretty good. I think I kind of effed up over here on this one as well, and this one overall was okay. I probably will buy another spoiler, and I'll probably email Perrin to grab a few more rivets just to have some, because definitely in the future, if I do and when I do sell the car, that will be a bit of a butcher job on the right corner there that'll be noticeable if I remove the spoiler to sell it. What I'll probably do is, if I sell the car, just leave the spoiler on it. I'm not too concerned about the pressure on the outside edge corner. Seems to be okay, but let's see if I can give you a close-up here of the area so you can see the rivet on the very, very edge of that. So that gives you an idea. Anyways, we're all done. So that is the Perrin Gurney flap for my 2015 WRX. Change it up a little bit, make the look a little bit different. So leave a comment or any feedback if you like. Thanks, guys.